The fears and doubts that you will have when getting involved in property. Hello, my name's Mark Fitzgerald. It's great to have you joining me here today. So there's a lot of fear, a lot of doubts when it comes to starting your own property business. Heck, starting any business for that matter. We've all had them. I had them myself as well. And if I tell you about my journey and how I overcame those to build successful property businesses, I hope that if nothing else, it just inspires you to be able to go out there and do the same for yourself as well. You see, I was in a corporate job for over 16 years. I worked my way off the shop floor and I kept my head down, getting the next promotion, moving up into the managerial ranks as well, thinking that was the best thing for me to be doing. I was a good little minion, keeping my head down. I was a hamster on that wheel. You've probably feel like that or have gone through those sort of emotions yourself. But I was dead inside. I was miserable. I was enjoying my family life, got a lovely family, but I hated Sundays, knowing that I'd have to go back to work on a Monday. I absolutely dreaded it. It was so bad that I even did things like I went on holiday and I paraglided to see if I'd feel scared because I just couldn't feel anything. I was really in some dark moments there. And this is where I then thought, for my own sanity, for my own life, I need to get out and do something for myself. I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be, but knew that property in the UK is always a great bet to get involved in. But for me, I felt trapped. I felt trapped and I felt trapped and a wage slave to the system. I have a wife, I have 2 kids, I have a mortgage to pay. I can't just quit my job and start a property business just like that. Can I? So for me, I started to look into it all. I started to see the different strategies that you could use in property. All you have to do is Google how to make money in property and boom, this whole world opens up to you. There's all of these different strategies that you can do, and it can be a bit overwhelming. And that is where the doubt, who am I to think that I could do something like this? And the fears, what happens if I lose money? What happens if this all goes wrong? What happens if people laugh at me? Now, we've all probably at some point in our lives felt like that. We do not want to let other people down. We do not want to have those fears and those worries, but a little voice in our head that will always back up however we're feeling. So if we are a little bit down, if we are feeling a little bit demoralized, a little bit of self-doubt creeps in, our little voice in our head will do its job to tell us, who are you, Mark, to do this? Why are you doing this? This is risky. You shouldn't be taking these chances. Well, in early 2019, I decided to stop listening to the fears and the doubts and to get out there and build something for myself. Yes, I had some support from family members, which is always great, and I will be forever thankful for that. But equally to that, it was about going out there and building a successful business. I chose the rent-to-rent strategy, and I was determined to build a rent-to-rent business in the HMO department. We now do serviced accommodations as well, but initially I went out there to do HMOs. Why? Because the way I looked at it is, once you've got the tenants in the properties, you've got guarantors on the tenants, you know what you're making month on month. So this was something I was going to do alongside my full-time job. Now, at the same time, luck. We make our own luck, by the way. Nobody's lucky. They make their own luck. But I was fortunate enough that the company that I worked for wanted to make a manager redundant. And now, I'm not saying it was going to be me. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I was quite good at what I did. But I decided to take voluntary redundancy. Okay, now that gave us a little pot of money. Nothing massive, but a little pot of money to be able to live on whilst I got my property business up. So I had the fears. I had the doubts, but the one thing that I used though was, what's the worst that can happen? On one hand, I can do this. If I get to the end of that pot of money, what is the worst that can happen? Are we going to lose our home? Are my family going to be out in the streets? No. Why? I'll just go and get a part-time job. I'll go and work at McDonald's if I have to. But I was determined to build a property business for the future, to give myself more time freedom and to feel alive again. If nothing else, just to feel alive, because I felt so dead. And my wife recognized this. So when I said to her, this is what I want to do, I want to take voluntary redundancy, she backed me 100%. Now with that is absolutely amazing. And I will forever be thankful for that. But also comes the pressure. I've got to keep the lights on. I don't want to fail. I don't want to let my 2 sons down either. But I can do this. And remember one thing, if nothing else, you only fail when you stop. So go in with that grit and determination and back yourself that you can build a property business, that you can build the life that you want to live. Okay? Now, is it going to be easy? No. If anybody's telling you there, get a couple of properties, sit on the beach, watch all the money roll in, run a mile. Okay? It's not like that. You are going to have to graft. You are going to have to work. But trust me, it can be very, very rewarding. If you need any help with that, then do check out thepropertyunleashed.com. That's my website. There's lots of free tools, guides, resources, deal analyzing spreadsheets that you can download, you can start using for yourself to help you. I'm a massive believer what goes around comes around in life. By me helping you, it'll come back to me tenfold. Other people did it for me when I started out, so I'm doing that for you. So check out thepropertyunleashed.com. But it was all about me going out there, burning the bridges, so to speak. I couldn't go back. I was only going to go forward. I decided to get educated as well. I wanted a roadmap to be able to go out there and get deals, to be able to go out there and build this business. Okay. So I went and got educated as well. So I put some of that money aside. I put that into education and I've never looked back. I always educate myself now in anything that I'm doing. And I like to stay up to date with everything that's going on. I always say you want to be the property professional for your sector, for your niche and for your area. So make sure that you are educated in that. And it's not just a case of, random bits of information from the news. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people. Make sure you're subscribing to channels like this, listening to the podcasts, the YouTube and everything, and taking it all on board from people who are living it, breathing it, and doing it as well. But I got out there and I had those fears. I had those doubts. 4 months it took me to get my first deal. I have students now that I show this exact path and how to do this with, who've got deals within weeks. But it took me 4 months. And I can tell you in that time, that was a long 4 months. It was dragging. Did I ever regret it? No, never regretted leaving my job, leaving the safety net of my job to go and chase my passions of building my own businesses. But I did doubt myself. I did have moments with the head in my hands thinking to myself, just got to keep going. There's got to be more that I can keep doing. And 4 months, some people will say that's quite quick. Some people will say that's quite slow. For me, it felt like too long, but we got there. I managed to do my first deal with a landlord, and that was 2 HMOs from one landlord. 2 HMOs brought me in nearly half of what I was earning in my corporate job. Okay. And then a month after that, I took another property on. That was 3 properties in 5 months. And then after that, we took on another 3 properties. So I had 6 HMOs. All of a sudden, I'm earning more than my corporate job. In fact, I'm earning nearly double what I earned in my corporate job. And I've never looked back since. It took me 12 months to get 9 deals before the dreaded COVID hit. But I will say to you, in the 4 months leading up to my first deal was where all of the work was done. So it was all of the letters, it was all of the networking, it was all of the talking to people, it was all of the social media and everything that we did to get ourselves out there. And you can do the same as well. In fact, like I say, I have the Rent to Rent Business Builder training program, which is just that. It's the complete roadmap to take you from complete novice to building a successful 6-figure business. Rent-to-rent business right here, right now. We've got a lot of people that are out there changing their lives doing this as well. We've got students that got 47 properties in a matter of 12 months. It's absolutely crazy what people are doing out there at the moment, but you can do the same. And the reason I'm telling you this is because they all had those fears and they all had those self-doubts, exactly the same as me. I'm not the only one and you're not the only one. The only thing stopping you from actually getting out there and being successful is you. If you think you haven't got enough money, you're right. If you think you can't do it, you're right. As the old saying goes, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So start to change that little voice in your head, or stop listening to it and start to put one foot in front of the other. What is the one thing you can do every day to start moving you forward? Is it just watching or listening to one of these videos or podcasts each and every day to learn a little bit more about the strategies that you're interested in? Is it getting out there, talking to agents, talking to landlords, networking, just one step at a time? That is all it takes. There is no magic. There is no secret sauce to any of this. If anybody tells you that, then they might as well just go and watch Harry Potter. But at the end of the day, it's just getting out there, doing the right things consistently and persistently to get the results that you want. If you need help with that, feel free to reach out to us. Do check out, as I say, thepropertyunleashed.com, but do make sure that you scrub out those fears and doubts, that you back yourself, because if you don't back yourself, nobody else can. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to you enjoying the next episode. Now, see you there.